Hey guys, today we're going to further our conversations on conflict and look at how conflict specifically drives plot. Just as a reminder, the College Board defines conflict as a tension between competing values, either within a character known as an internal or psychological conflict, or with outside forces that obstruct a character in some way known as external conflict. Another way that we've been thinking about this, probably since you had me sophomore year, is just the specific types of conflict, numbering them as 5. So you have person versus self, which is that internal conflict, and the rest which are external, which are person versus person, person versus society, person versus nature, or person versus supernatural or technology. So how does conflict actually work to drive plot? It gives characters something to do and or think about. If they have a problem with somebody, the idea is that we want resolution and they want resolution. And that, in turn, having those things to do to build out the story and sets a timeline, which creates anticipation and tension in the reader. Because again, we want what they want. We want whatever it is that is in their way, whatever problem that they're experiencing to be solved. It makes us feel good. And that's what we want when we read stories. So an example of this is Shape of Bedelias, which we read a couple weeks ago. If you've forgotten, it is on the New Yorker website if you Google it. So in this story, Tiny was characterized by the person versus society conflict revolving around women cutting hair. People didn't want women to cut hair during that time. And she filled the hole because, remember, there was the great haircutting drought. And this conflict between the need for having someone cut hair, but the desire to have it not be a woman, really drove her business, how it grew, and we, the reader, anticipated the scuffles that she had with the community while trying to grow that business. And it also distracted us from the secondary conflict that created the plot twist at the end of the story. So keep in mind, conflict can be numerous. There can be more than one, and they can intersect with each other and deepen each other, add more interest in how the story gets resolved, if it gets resolved, and what parts do and don't get resolved. So just so that we're all clear, what we're looking for, and what specifically I'm looking for in your answers with regards to questions that ask about how conflict drives plot, I'm looking for you to explain how the characters are given something to do or think about by a conflict, and having those things to do or think about builds out this story and sets a timeline and creates anticipation in the reader. And this tension, hopefully, how it's resolved in the end. So being able to lay out those concepts using that kind of language is going to be the thing that gets you the points in these kind of questions. All right, carry on.